Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, I'm home, which is something I haven't been able to say in a while. I've been away on job sites forever, it seems like. I think I've spent something like 4 nights at home in the past 5 months. So it's nice being home. I'm out on the back deck right now. Of course, pool and everything's closed. And anyway, just hanging out. But so wanted to talk a little bit tonight. Had a couple questions. I haven't done a video in a while because, like I said, we've been slammed and we're still slammed. Luckily, there was some delays on the project we're currently on that wasn't our fault, so I was able to give the guys next week off. So everybody's taking Thanksgiving off, and then we're going to hit back on it there. But anyway, so I had a couple questions that I wanted to talk about. So I made a comment the other day. Somebody posted on LinkedIn, and it seems like anytime I answer or anything now, I end up getting just all kinds of questions and stuff about anything I post, whether it be a funny post or whatever. And I get that comes with the course of when you start giving advice on a lot of things, then you get a lot of people asking questions, which is totally cool. I like it. I don't mind it at all. But somebody had posted and said, if you had $1 million right now, what would you invest in? And it was like Tesla stock. I don't remember what it was, cryptocurrency, real estate, I don't remember. Anyway, and I had posted on there that if I had $1 million right now, I'd be shorting Tesla. I wouldn't be investing in Tesla long. I'd be shorting it. And man, I got flooded as to why I would say that. And Tesla's this great company, and there's a big disconnect, and that's one of the things I want to talk about now. There's a big disconnect in investing between paying a fair price for a good company and going in at all means. Just because I'm shorting Tesla doesn't mean I think Tesla's going to fail. The reason I'm shorting Tesla, or the reason that I would short Tesla, I'm not currently short Tesla. I have been, but I closed that position out last year, and right now I don't have anything in stocks. As you guys know, we've got a huge expansion going on with Appalachian. We got the powder coat division. We've got a new agricultural division coming up that's going to be focusing with some of the greenhouse stuff we're doing. We're going to be bringing some machines to market and stuff like that. So I liquidated all of my holdings that were liquid assets and stocks and stuff. There's no reason to be in the stock market for me right now, from what I can tell. Inflation's climbing, so interest rates are going to have to be raised to combat that. It's at an all-time high right now. Companies have insane evaluations, which we'll go into in a second with Tesla. So long story short, no reason to be there. So I'll pull my money out. I'll pay the taxes on it, and we'll go on. And then I'll use that money to build my private endeavors. And I'll jump back in later. But anyway, so here's the thing with Tesla. Tesla right now is valued about $2 trillion. If you figure up the valuation that it has right now, you have to assume two things. One, that the car industry is going pretty much all electric, which that's what we're being told. But we'll go over those numbers in a second on why I don't see that happening as quickly as they say it's going to happen. And two, that if it goes all electric, Tesla is going to own all of the automotive market. You have to believe those two things to be able to justify a $2 trillion valuation for that company. And I can't go there. I don't see it. So, I'm not Wall Street, and I get that, but that's why. That's the answer as to why I would short Tesla right now. I'm not telling you to short it. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm all the legal stuff out of the way. Don't sue me because I'm not an attorney and all this. I'm not a registered advisor. But me personally, if I had $1 million, that's what I would do. I said I would short Tesla with 800K of it, and I would hold 200K in reserve to make sure I didn't margin out. And that's exactly what I would do. But here's why. So we're being told right now that all these automakers are going to go completely electric by 2035, 2025. It'll begin up to 2035. But no one, and man, politicians, let me explain something. I don't care what side, left, right, middle, whatever. I don't care. Politicians say what they have to say to get their base moved to vote for them. And right now, the end thing is that we're going to go green and we're going to do these electric vehicles and stuff. And that's cool. I mean, I do a lot of automotive, so I don't want to rock the boat because I'm happy to help companies come in and change a lot of their fleet over and build, factories to do this and all that. But let's just take a look at the numbers, okay? So these are the real numbers. Right now, America, just America, uses 338 million gallons of gasoline per day. 338 million per day. That's what we use. So if we just look at an energy standpoint, that we have to replace that energy, we have to replace the wattage, the BTUs of that energy. A gallon of gasoline has roughly 120,000 BTU of energy. That's roughly 35,000 watts of energy in a gallon of gasoline if you convert it over. So you take the 35,000. I've got the numbers written down here. I'm not pulling this out of my head, but and you can Google all this. I mean, check my math. It's all good. But if you figure it up, 338 million million gallons a day, times 35,000 watts per gallon, we have to replace roughly 11.8 trillion watts of electricity per day. That's to charge all the cars. If we were to convert every car over and get completely away from fossil fuels, you're going to have to come up with roughly 12 trillion watts of energy to power that. Okay? Now, you're never going to get there with solar or wind. I don't care what anybody says. They can talk all they want to talk. You're never going to get there. Period. Ever. You're not going to get there. No way. It's not going to happen. I mean, you could fill the entire Midwest. They're trying to now. You fill the entire Midwest with wind power, and you're never going to get there. But if we were to do nuclear, and we were to go there, and you figure that a nuclear reactor right now is about a gigawatt, something like that. So roughly, you're looking at, if you want to build a nuclear reactor to cover that 11, almost 12 trillion watts of electricity need that we would need to charge the vehicles, you need to build 11,000 at a gigawatt each. You need to build 11,000, almost 12,000 actually, but I rounded it to 11,000. You need to build 11,000 nuclear power plants in the next 10 years. 11,000 at a cost of around $6 billion per nuclear reactor. About $6 billion per is what it costs to build it. So if you do the math on that, that's roughly $71 trillion just in nuclear power plant generation that we're going to have to bring on. That's just the reactors. That's not including all the infrastructure we got to put out there as far as the lines to get it to the homes, to carry the extra load. That's not counting all the chargers that we would. Now, granted, a lot of this will be private industry, but my point is, the number is so staggering. So let's call it, by the time you figure in the chargers in the homes and the driveways and the batteries and everything that you're going to have, let's call that $130 trillion in the next 10 years to get there. The U.S. economy is roughly, a $17 to $20 trillion economy. And you've got to do, call it 14 trillion a year. So we have to do what the entire U.S. economy does every year for the next 10 years to meet the goals of getting all of the cars off the road and getting off gasoline. Can we do it by 2050? Maybe. I don't know. But where does private industry, especially when we're at the same time we're going to be raising taxes, because that's the new push, is raising taxes on businesses. So we're going to be raising taxes in the Build Back Better plan and all this, and the new infrastructure plan. The infrastructure plan, everybody was going nuts because it's a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Guys, you need 150 of those bills, 150 of them, to get to the point that we need to be. So we have to spend an insane amount of money to get off of gasoline. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't need to happen. I'm not debating that. I'm not going political in any way, shape, or form. I'm just telling you the hard math that it has to be. So with that being said, that's the reason why I said that. And that is why I would short Tesla stock if I was the one investing right now. If I was going to if I had $1 million to put somewhere, that's where it would be. Ironically, it's also kind of telling that Elon Musk is selling off shares of Tesla right now. And like I said, this isn't investment advice. This is what I would do. I'm not telling you to do it with your money. You're going to be completely different. I can risk a loss, and it's not my last dime. So that's kind of the way that is. Now, with that being said, and we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, so this is going to be a YouTube video. I was going to try to keep it under 10 minutes, but got my holiday cup, and Brendan Duggar sent me some rye whiskey that's phenomenal. So I got it in a little Dr. Pepper here. So I'm sitting on the back deck having a drink and talking to a box, because that's what I do now. By the way, got the new beard going on, trying to grow that thing out, see if I can cover up some of my fattiness. Anyway, so the other thing that I got to ask about in a couple of the videos I posted, and actually, for those of you who don't know, I've been writing a book called The Net Worth Bible. I've been writing it for probably 7 or 8 years. I get a spurt and I write a little bit, and I'm not the greatest writer. I'm just a redneck, electrician, and But basically, it's a book that I'm wanting to put out there at some point that will detail how true wealth is created and built, and how it's made from a entrepreneurial level, right? Not stealing it from somebody or getting it given to you in inheritance, but how do you start out from ground zero? And you know, it's not a guideline of a get rich quick or anything like that. It's just a book that I guess shows you what the wealthy do. And so there was somebody that posted the other day and asked, you know, what causes the rich? How do the rich get rich, right? And there was all kinds of stuff. They were talking about, government donations and tax breaks and all this, and none of it, I mean, none of it's accurate. None of it is. I mean, those things help. You know, but the one thing, and this is what I posted, and this is what I got asked the questions about. The one thing that the rich do that you don't do is the rich become very efficient at turning their extra income into long-term or generational wealth. And what I mean by that is, I want you to, and I tell this to people I mentor as well. They'll probably mention that I've had this conversation with them in the comments below. But basically, if you right now, if you take your paycheck, go get your last pay stub, and do this for every pay stub. I want to open your eyes to something. Go get your last pay stub, sit down with it, and look at how you spent that money. Right, every penny. Look at it. And then, on every penny you spend it to, look and see if any of that created any wealth at all. For example, you paid your car note. And you paid, so some of that went to interest, some of it went to principal, so you are paying the car off. But that car is depreciating to zero as hard as it can. 5 years from now, it's going to be worth a tenth of what it is now. 10 years from now, it's going to be worth a tenth of that. 20 years from now, you can't give it away. Okay, so that every dime that you're paying on that car, including the interest, including the upkeep, is gone. Now, we need transportation, so, you know, it is what it is. But it's gone. It's not wealth. Your home, unless you live in a very special area, you may get periods of appreciation. But what you're going to find at most places is that the home is a huge, huge expense. It is not a wealth-building tool. A home is a place to stay in to keep you warm and keep a roof over your head. By the time you figure in the interest on the loan, and the taxes on the place, and the insurance on the place, and the upkeep of your home, you know, having to fix stuff, having to put a roof in it, having to put a heat pump on it, by the time you figure that stuff in, rarely will you ever outrun the appreciation that you get off the home outrun what the costs are. Maybe by a small amount, but not much. Nowhere near what you're putting into it. Okay, so the rate of return is terrible on that. So that's not it. The food you eat, you have to have food, right? Everybody does. I mean, I like food. You can tell by looking at me. But the point is, as soon as you eat a meal, or as soon as that food spoils, it was a wasted dollar. There's no wealth generated there, right? So look at everything that you do. And I'm not telling you not to go out and have a nice meal. I'm not telling you not to make memories with your family. We're going to the Tennessee ball game tomorrow to hopefully make a good memory with the family. So I'm not telling you to do it, but my point is, the more that you start turning that wealth, or turning that paycheck into long-term wealth, or even generational wealth. What do I mean by generational wealth? Well, build your own building, buy rental properties, even buy stock in good companies, buy stock in Tesla after it crashes. I mean, I don't care what you do with it, but the point is, you have to start turning that money into long-term wealth, and get that snowball rolling. As a matter of fact, if you want to read a great book on it, the best investor of our times, maybe of all time, is Warren Buffett. And you know, a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't. I don't have a care for what he is personally, but go read The Snowball, his biography, and you know, get it on audio and read it. But it's going to open your eyes to what I'm talking about. You know, he as a kid turned a paper route into buying pinball machines, turned pinball machines into buying a farm, and turned that farm into a crop sharing deal with a farmer, and used that capital to fund some of his earliest ventures. So, you know, he started at a very young age understanding capitalists and capitalism and how it works, and become at times the richest man in the world doing it. But that's the thing. If you want to become wealthy, that's the number one trick. I don't care what your taxes are. I don't care. I mean, there's people who are in countries that are severely taxed that are still very wealthy. So you're not going to convince me that high taxes, low taxes, or anything will make a difference if you learn to play the game like they play it, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you that nepotism doesn't come into play in family money and, buddy contracts. And I'm not telling you that all that's not in play. I'm not trying to overlook any of that. But what I am telling you is that when I hear people say that only the wealthy get richer, the rich get richer, and then their kids get it and blah, 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 go look at the Forbes 400 right now. Look at the number of self-made in the Forbes 400, and you're going to see that a huge amount of the list, I mean, I forget what it is, it's something like 70%. Like 70% of the Forbes 400, the richest 400 people in America right now, are self-made. It's not Vanderbilt money that's been passed down. Usually within 3 generations, take the Waltons, for example. Sam Walton would easily be the richest man in the world if he was still alive today. But the money was passed to his children and then the grandchildren, and now it's being passed on and passed on and passed on. And what you end up with is about 3 generations or 4 generations out, that money is squandered and passed to so many people that the family falls off. Don't get me wrong, they're still filthy rich. I mean, the Vanderbilts are still rich. Andrew Carnegie, although he left a ton of money to, all kinds of stuff, libraries, stuff like that, that family's not hurting. J.P. Morgan's family's not. I mean, those families are still extremely rich. So I'm not trying to pass that off as being false. But what I'm talking about is, how does the normal person like you or I start to build something? And guys, if you have a normal job, if you're working for $10 an hour at McDonald's right now, start watching your paycheck. And if you set aside $10 and you go to a yard sale or a thrift store or something, and you buy something that you can eBay and make $15 on it, you've made a 50% return on it. Take that $15 and start it snowballing. I mean, start where you are. Bitching and complaining about you don't have it or you're never going to make it or whatever, that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to start where you're at with what you have, right? And then you have to go from where you're at financially to where you want to be, $1 at a time, one investment at a time, one deal at a time, whatever. But you also have to take your earning power up by focusing on yourself. Become more of an asset to the people around you. If you work at McDonald's, go in and bust your ass every day and show them that you're management material. I had a friend in high school that, I'm not going to lie, we made fun of him because he was working at McDonald's, and we were all, out running and playing ball every day and chasing girls or whatever the normal teenage boys do. And my buddy James was going to work every day. And he got the last laugh on us because then he became manager of that McDonald's. And the last time I saw him, I moved away from there. But the last time I saw him was probably, 15 years ago. And he was a regional manager over several stores and doing very well for himself. Started there at 15 in high school. Now, he busted his ass. He got in there and went for it. So, anyway, I'm going to cut it short there because we're about 20 minutes in. But yeah, so that's the 2 big questions that I got asked by a bunch of people this week that I wanted to touch on. What did I mean in the wealth thing? And like I said, if I ever get this book done, maybe I'll sell some, and that'll be some generational wealth for me. Who has time to write anything right now? But anyway, one day it'll happen, hopefully. And then the other one was Tesla, why I would short it, and people couldn't believe that I was saying it when it's the hottest commodity out there. By the way, if you see the entire world, this is just just something to kind of go by, a rule of thumb. If the entire world is buying an investment, the secret's already out and the money's already made. Run from that. That's why I'm not buying Bitcoin right now. I mean, would I've loved to have got Bitcoin at $100. I remember my nephew, he was like 12 at the time, or 13. I don't know. He was young. He was still in his teens for sure. And he calls me and he was like, hey, do you know this thing about Bitcoin? I'm like, no, have no idea. And he was playing a game online, and he was talking about how Bitcoin was this new revolutionary thing and you could buy it for a few dollars. And I don't remember what it was, $10 or something. He was like, man, you should put some money into this. And yeah, I should listen to my nephew. Sometimes from the mouth of babes, right? But anyway, so guys, have a great Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to get next week off. Like I said, the job that we've been working on, they're behind on the millwright stuff and setting the equipment that we're supposed to be commissioning. I got to bring my guys home and get them a week off with the family, and we're going to work a couple days next week here locally and do some stuff that we've been putting off. But for the most part, we're going to really enjoy the holiday, and give thanks for what we have. It's been a tough couple years on all of us. I think we all have a lot to give thanks for, just the fact that we're still here. So I wish you guys a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope it's wonderful for you. Get with your family, chow down on some good food and give thanks for what you have. And as always, if you have any questions, any comments, if I can help in any way, I'd be happy to help or talk with you or explain anything I can explain. Whatever I can do to help you get to a better spot in life. And once again, I'm not asking for a penny. Those that know me on here know that the way I do things. But all I ask is if you find something in these videos that is enlightening, something that helps, give a donation to charity, a charity of your choice. I prefer St. Jude. We give a lot to St. Jude. But if that's not your thing, for us it's perfect because St. Jude, in my mind, they do the best they can with what they have out of anything I've seen. Who doesn't want to help kids kick cancer, right? But if you don't want to donate to them, donate to anything, time or money. I don't care, and I don't even need to know about it. Just on the honor system. If you find benefit in what I'm saying, and you go out tomorrow and you cut your first deal and everything's cruising, give back. Don't stop giving back. That's all I ask. So anyway, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll talk to y'all soon. And we'll go from there. Maybe I'll try to do another video tomorrow if you've got any questions about this one. I'll try to follow up before, or not tomorrow. I'm going to watch Tennessee play football tomorrow. So Sunday, I will try to upload any responses to this if you want to talk more in depth about it. So, all right, have a great night. Talk to you soon.